Stop. I can't take it anymore.
Oh, I do the live ones too. Yes, I know. I saw your act in the theater. You're really quite good.
Quite a certain harmful habit.
Stop it now, I'm leaving.
Hello and welcome back. We are back at it, breaking up with RBS. This is episode number 44, and I am Tawny Santabria.
I am JDK Winnikin, and you are fired up.
I almost forgot the number.
To break up, to debunk the junk.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're fired up. You almost forgot the number. Yeah, I can understand why. It would be hard for me to keep track. We're getting up into the 40s now. We're over the hill. We're starting to forget.
I know. It's gonna be something here pretty soon.
If it's all downhill, there's a big jump on the bottom of the
Oh, a big slide.
Big
Yeah.
slide.
We're on the slide. I think we said that
I think we
another
did.
episode back.
I think we did. Who knows?
Okay.
Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And I hope all of you out there are doing well. If you are listening live, thank you so much for doing it. If you are subscribed to this as a podcast, also thank you for doing that. And thanks for leaving some reviews for us. We really appreciate it. If you're checking out our YouTube channel, Breaking Up with RBS, here we are once again. And you can join us here. You can also join our Facebook group, Breaking Up with RBS, to get content in between episodes, to interact with us a little more directly. And, of course, there's Tawny's 6-week self-mastery course that she's offering.
Mm-hmm.
And you got some special stuff going on with that, too, that you talked about last week. You should remind people again what's going on.
Yes, special stuff for June. Folks who register for the 6-week class in June will also get a free coaching session with myself.
Ooh.
To use whenever you'd like. You don't have to use it in June. So that'll be super exciting.
So you can keep it in their back pocket.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I mean, I don't do 24/7 on call stuff, but,
Well, yeah.
but yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just super excited because my second grandbaby will be coming in June.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
it's sort of like a celebratory sort of
Got it.
thing I thought would be fun for June.
Got it. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of it, everybody, because you don't know if Tawny's going to have another grandchild anytime soon.
You don't know.
That's
yeah,
exciting, though.
It is.
That's great.
It is.
That's
yes.
great. Awesome. So, all right, so check that out at Integrated. Wait, where's this website?
Go
For
to
that.
unperfectyourself.com.
Unperfectyourself.com.
Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
They can find out more about your coaching in general at integratedgrowthcoach.com.
Yeah, they could find it there too. So just trying to kind of make it a little easier on
Absolutely.
the length of the URL. Is that what they call it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I'm getting the lingo down.
Very good. It's anything like that's a victory, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's really good. And those all are opportunities for all of you listeners to really start maybe experiencing this in the context of your own life rather than just hearing us talk about it. And, might be wondering, I wonder how this applies to me. Well, these are the ways that you can find out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the ways that Tawny and I have discovered for ourselves. And it's the reason why we do this show is because we want to bring this to as many people as possible, because getting present, learning what that means, breaking up with yes, changes life for the better.
Yes.
It does. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit more about some other pile of BS. Last week, we talked about putting the idea of settling in that green baggie and tossing it into the little waste bin on the side.
Came up, and I don't know which part of this to put in the green bag, but one of the things that came up during the week for me and talking to a few different people was that this idea that when we have perfectionist tendencies, we tend to be a little more judgy. And we tend to be a little more sensitive to other people's judgy. I'm just saying. Do you notice this? What are your thoughts? What's coming up for you when I just leap into this?
First of all, it's a good topic.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
That's the first thing,
Mhm.
because I hadn't necessarily put those two together. But that resonates to me in my body as a true connection. The more perfectionist we are, the more judgy we can be, I think, of ourselves. Certainly judgy of ourselves and our performance and our abilities and our failures and all that. And being critical. And of others, absolutely. But I think it can go several ways. It can be judgy of those who haven't done as much in our mind, quote unquote. Judgy of those who might be ahead of us, quote unquote.
Oh, yeah. Judgy is judgy.
Judgy's judgy. Can go a number of different directions. All right. So the question on the table is, should Judgy go in the green baggie? Okay. All right. So let's explore that.
Yeah. So I'm conflicted because one of the things I always tell my clients is that Judgy is here to stay. I'm sorry. In that, human beings are going to have different perspectives and different preferences. I like almond butter better than peanut butter. So I don't get peanut butter at the store. Well, except for Hubby Dave. He likes peanut butter.
Hubby Dave's a peanut butter guy.
Yeah. So I get almond butter, right? Like, so on one hand, some of this isn't going to go away, but do we need to be uber judgy or judgy often?
But wait, wouldn't isn't what we're talking about? Because what you're talking about is a preference and a discernment that you like almond butter better than peanut butter.
Mm-hmm.
Is the judgy we're talking about you telling Hubby Dave he's less than because he likes peanut butter versus almond butter?
No. What if the peanut butter was offended that I preferred the almond butter?
Oh.
And I was judgy against the peanut butter,
because
right?
The peanut butter
because I didn't choose the peanut butter.
I see.
Do you see what I'm saying? So I think sometimes, like, when we talk about ideas, like, okay, so I have an idea that I want to pitch to somebody, right? And I think it's a great idea. I think, of course, they're going to love this idea. They can't even wait until they hear this idea. And I can't wait to deliver it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here I am sharing my idea. And then what happens?
And they don't like it.
They don't like my idea and they don't take it.
Mm-hmm. So the judgy moment becomes...
Yeah, so I feel rejected.
I
feel that, I can make up all kinds of judgy stories about myself, about why they didn't choose me, about themselves.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to be judged again. So am I going to tell anybody my next brilliant idea?
Oh, man.
God, no.
Right. And then be resentful on some level of them, yourself, the universe, fate, the industry, because you're not taking the step. Oh,
right.
Man.
So I felt like I had the perfect idea. I had worked on it. And I was going to deliver this perfectly.
Uh-huh.
Right. And it didn't turn out perfectly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So because of that, I've got a lot of judgment now around myself, around others, around even delivering of a message.
Mm.
If I hadn't had any idea about perfectness with this, for whatever reason, I just was like, I'm going to shoot from the hip, and whether they like it or not, I don't. Right.
Right.
I may go in there and still deliver an idea, but they take it or leave it. It's all okay. And no more stories are going to be either enhanced, right, from me, or created about what this particular event means, right?
Yeah.
In more of a harsher manner.
Yeah. You know what comes up for me is a real life experience, trying to publish my novel.
Mm.
It's been a learning curve. I've gotten rejections from agents and publications. And of course, everybody tells you that's going to happen. And it's true. It happens pretty much to everybody. There might be somebody who lucks out and never gets a rejection. But I remember the first one I got, first rejection from an agent. First that I got, somebody I knew. Okay, somebody I knew. It was an acquaintance friend from a long time ago. And I had that experience, the judgy, like, what do you mean you're not? I mean, and their comment was not really interested in the genre. And therefore, because if they're not that interested, they don't think they could represent me well, which makes complete sense. I would rather somebody pass on it for that reason. But in the moment, I was like, what the hell is the matter with you? This is a great idea. This is a great concept. All you need to do is see how great it is, and you'll get excited about it. Or all you need to do is read beyond what I already sent you. And without recognizing it, not only did I do some judging of myself and of this person, but it also slowed me down in taking the next steps to put it out there to a new agent and that type of thing. And it took me a little while to make that shift, and I still sometimes struggle with it. to get that out there, because, it can get real easy to go, oh, the grind is terrible. The industry is awful. These people just don't see the vision. Really where I've had to go, and I try to sit in my best moments, is I'm going to keep putting this out there. It only takes one person. I don't need to find 50 people who want to publish this book. I just need to find one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a better space to sit in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, that's what comes up for me.
Yeah.
A real life example.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So if then we aren't, if we're trying to avoid judgment, we're going to limit ourselves quite a bit, right?
Completely.
And that happens with perfectionist sort of qualities, because we want to be seen as perfect. We want to be seen as knowing. We want to be seen as capable. We almost are performing in such a way, right? And so then if we're afraid of or just uncomfortable with any kind of rejection, or any kind of judgment, nope, that's the wrong answer. We may not even speak up at work. We may not even start a project.
Might shut down in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So what if we weren't afraid of judgment? Like from others? What if we were like, okay, this is reality.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to happen, right? And judgment doesn't have to be all like this terrible bad thing. Because typically we're not going to die from judgment.
That's true.
Typically we aren't.
Right.
Yes, there has to be more than for us to die.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So, and then we notice our own judgment. This is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like if we're really afraid of judgment from other people, I think you know what I'm going to say next, but there's probably some judgment that's happening on your end.
Mm-hmm.
And let's take a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm laughing because I remember a conversation with you where you actually asked a variant of that question. You actually asked a question of variant of what you just said. And that was, you asked me, what would it feel like for you if you were free of those expectations, free of that angst, free of needing something or wanting something from this situation? How would that feel? And as I recall, I went on I put out a long list. I would feel freer, more comfortable in my own skin. I think I'd have more energy. I think I would feel less sad, or at least a little more able to hold sad and more difficult things. Went through this long list. And then you asked me, what would you say if I told you could have all that right now? And I looked at you the way I'm looking at you right now. It had never occurred to me that choice was in my purview. That it was even a choice.
Yeah.
Because essentially what you were asking me to do was put aside this judgment, these perfectionist ideas, and consider the possibility. And the crazy thing was I'd laid out all those feelings of what it would feel like. I actually felt that. And that's the crazy part, right? And that was my first real big introduction to what the body can tell us, right? And I knew it was true. And I knew it was true in my body. I didn't need my head to give me an explanation and explain things in a paragraph and cite the references. That's what came up.
Yes.
Remember that conversation?
I do remember that.
Did you laugh at me? I seem to remember you laughing at me. Or maybe I laughed at me.
I was laughing with you. I always laugh with you, not at you.
This is true. For those of you who are going to take advantage of the free 1 hour coaching, she will not laugh at you. I shouldn't joke about
but I
that.
probably will laugh with, because humor
Absolutely.
is really important. Not
It is.
taking ourselves so seriously is really important.
It is. And the laughter that came from me after that was actually from relief of recognizing that I had put up this facade I was in, or this, to take our lingo, embracing a pile of BS as true when it wasn't, right? It was everything I was projecting onto that situation that was causing me that pain, that was making things difficult. It hadn't occurred to me that I had some choices that were actually based in reality rather than like we were talking about last week. Oh, I just need to settle for this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just never occurred to me. That choice matters.
Yes, yes. So when there became this relief of, wow, I don't have to control all of these things that I've been trying to control for.
Because I can't.
Right, because it's not possible. You unloaded that, and of course there's relief, right? And that's the part of judgment when we're talking about judgment as sort of like a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right? When we're talking about judgment as sort of like discerning.
Yeah,
Like, okay,
discernment's powerful.
Discernment is yeah, we like that, right? But so many of us struggle with judgment from others.
Yeah.
And we're not noticing that we're often doing a lot of judging also.
Oh my gosh.
And both parts of those are heavy weights.
They are.
And they I don't know if I'm going to use this word accurately, so I'm going to pick another one, but they basically frame, they're from the thinking space.
Yeah.
Right? It's not in the body. Judgment's not in the body.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the head.
Yeah, it's making a case. It's case building in the head, like you would build a law case, and making a judgment on the guilt or innocence or
bad or good,
or bad or good,
right or wrong,
of a person, a situation. Usually it's people, but it seems to me that that's rather than recognizing that part doesn't necessarily matter as much as where am I at? Am I in reality? And can I accept this? So like for me, it was the challenges usually were around people, and things not going the way I wanted them to go, or having conversations I didn't want to be having, or outcomes that I didn't want to face. And once it became easier to let that go and go, look, I can't do anything about these outcomes. Do I still want to be connected to these people? Am I willing to, make adjustments? Do I accept these people for where they are, who they are? That was a whole different set of questions that had everything to do with the choices that I wanted to make. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I made choices that were better and not based in perfection or judgy. Really.
Right. That's the part, right?
Yeah.
So taking a look inward gives us a lot of information about where we're at and what we're actually doing.
Yeah.
And so if we don't like a particular thing coming at us, we probably want to start to look at, am I doing that to others?
Oh, no kidding. Yeah.
Right. That would be an important place to start. Because if you've got a vision about how things are supposed to go, then there is going to be some judgment when they're not going the way they're supposed to go.
And somebody else is doing it in your mind, quote unquote. Someone else is doing it, even though you've set them up because it's a whole BS line of inquiry and line of focus anyway.
It's like the whole BS system. There's a
Totally.
whole BS system.
It's like a BS.
So really maybe not judgment goes in the green bag, but more perfectionistic type stuff goes in the green bag.
Yeah.
Because if we're not looking for that ideal, if we're not looking for that perfect scenario, then we do judge less and we're less concerned or derailed when we experience judgment from others.
Yeah.
Or criticism or whatever it is that you want to, whatever word you want to use.
And when we let go of that judgment and we let other people off the hook for not living up to whatever our expectations have been or our desired outcomes, when you can see them more in reality, you can make better decisions about whether they actually are the people that you thought they were, whether you want to, still have connection with them. All my relationships shifted after that conversation. All of them shifted. Some have gone away or gotten more, distant, or I'm not as regularly connected to them. Other ones I've really invested in, connected in more, and been more intentional. But in those, it's always been with the recognition that these are people that are different from me, have different goals, different approaches, a lot of times different opinions, different needs, different things they're looking for, and that has just made my relationships with them better. and my relationship with myself better because I know better where I'm standing and I start and stop and where they start and stop.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier.
It's clearer.
Clearer, no doubt.
And that's what helps us is clarity.
Okay, so perfectionism in the green baggie.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to put different piles to get rid of all the perfectionism stuff.
There's a lot.
So we're going to have a lot of piles for that.
Yeah. Because there's a lot that goes into perfectionism that can be their own piles, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of offshoots, I guess, or perfectionism sort of creates lots of piles.
Yeah.
Related to some of these other things.
And hence the perfect title of that website that people can go to, right? Unperfect yourself.
Yeah.
I guess that's what that means.
That is. Once we can let that go, life's going to be more clear. Yeah.
And the challenge of letting that go. So for anybody who's listening to this and goes, and maybe hears the sense in it, but is still kind of scared by the idea or isn't quite sure how to let go of that. I remember I struggled with that. How do I let go of that? Yeah. What do you say to them?
Well, it's a practice, right? It's not let me just know this answer and do tip 1 and tip 2, and then you're good to go. It's a conditioned sort of idea and belief that we've all sort of grown up with to some degree or another. And oftentimes we don't even realize that that's happening for us, or we've exhausted ourselves because of it, and now we're apathetic. And we think we've let it go, but if we actually did, we wouldn't be apathetic. Right. So that process of kind of starting to look inward, starting to notice, going back to the noticing, starting to notice what's happening, what we're choosing to do ourselves.
Yeah.
When we're externally focused all the time, we'll look at that person's doing and that person, and then, however we do that, we're not looking inward. So we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we should be more concerned about that and growing into and out of some of these places.
Yeah. Yeah. The fact that it's a practice, I think, is a big deal. Like what I said earlier about everything shifting after that, it only shifted because I had to confront that reality. I chose to confront those realities every day, sometimes moment by moment. It had to become a practice of letting go of old ideas or old reactions or noticing them as they came through, going, okay, that's a BS story. So I'm going to let that go by, and I'm just not going to feed it. Over time, they don't happen as much, but they do happen. It's just what we do with them. We have to do it every single day. Yeah. So for all that relief I felt in that one moment, there was more that had to be done on a daily basis.
Well, your teeth don't stay clean unless you brush them every day.
Right. Your electricity doesn't stay on unless you pay the bill every month.
Yeah. So there is that practice of that is going to be the key, not just knowing how to do something. That's fine and dandy, but that doesn't do the trick. Right.
And we all do it, right? I mean, it's not as if I don't, confront BS stories on a daily basis still. I do.
We've been conditioned to do it. So if there's a person out there, and there might be somewhere on the planet that hasn't been conditioned to do it, the BS stories, then they wouldn't be doing it.
That's right.
Right. But for all the rest of us, we have learned to do that. So we've got to, unlearn it.
And if you're that person, we want to bring you on the show.
Yes. Please contact us.
We want to talk to you because we want to test that thing out. We want to see if that's really the case or not.
Yes. We want it.
Man. Yeah. And there is something, and hopefully listeners taking this in, we'll take advantage of the 6-week course or take advantage of the offer you're giving them, because what I do know is when you see the possibility of experiencing something different with less judgment, more empowerment, more peace as a result, and you experience what it's like in the body to connect with reality, you do kind of want more. It's not as bad as people sometimes think it is. It's not bad, really.
Well, it's not. It's not scary at all. Right? I think
it wasn't scary for me.
The scary comes in from a headspace. Ooh, what's it going to be about? Am I going to like it? Am I not? Is it going to be hard? Right? That's we make up the scary from a headspace.
Yeah.
Once we actually practice and get into the body and kind of experience what that is, it's not scary at all. And to your point, like, you wanted more of it because it wasn't scary at all.
No. And the experience of being in my body, knowing what that meant and feeling the strength of that for myself, that it was a part of this larger system that could help me. It was actually designed to help me. That just got more exciting for me to really explore. And so all of a sudden I had curiosity about that I didn't have before. And whoa, if I can have these kinds of shifts developing in this part of my life, what if I applied them to this part of my life? What about this? But it all came back to me. How am I looking at things? How am I showing up? How am I matching up with the values that I know matter the most? And where are my areas for improvement that I'd like to improve upon? Not because I need to be perfect, but because I'm experiencing life as continued growth.
Yeah.
Opportunity.
And so what you just kind of did in a nutshell is you sort of talked about that so important piece of learning to trust yourself. If we all could learn to trust ourselves, everything changes.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And people notice, and you notice, and situations change.
And things aren't so scary anymore
No.
once we can trust ourselves.
Exactly. That's very true. That's very true. So if you're interested in experiencing more of that for yourself, really, 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 I encourage everybody listening to take advantage of Tawny's offer over at unperfectyourself.com. Check out the 6-week self-mastery course. Get a coaching session and see what it's like for yourself. And maybe after you do that, you can come on the show. How about that?
That'd be
Okay.
fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Breaking Up with Our BS. We will be back next week to take on who knows what. It'll come to us
Who knows?
when time comes. And so have a great week and put those things in the baggies as you need to. And until next time, I'm JDK Winnikin.
And I'm Tawny Santabria.
Stock up on the green bags. See you next week.
I've got a lot of green bags.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Stop. I can't take it anymore.
Oh, I do the live ones too. Yes, I know. I saw your act in the theater. You're really quite good.
Quite a certain harmful habit.